Round 11 of the 2017 FF1M season comes to you from a personal favourite of mine, the Hockenheim ring located in the Heidelberg Forest in Germany, and for the first time this season I'm being joined by Tobias Wolff.
Hello folks.
And I think it's quite a happy Tobias this time around because he's having what us Northerners would call an alright season.
An alright season. Yeah, it's been going pretty well so far. I don't really have much to complain about. Currently on a 5-race winning streak that is probably going to come to an end now that I'm commentating, because that's the way it usually works. But, we hopefully can keep this run going for as long as possible. But this is Hockenheim, and there's always drama in these races we have here on the old layout. I thought last year's race was quite, standard, nothing like spectacular, and then suddenly on the last lap Hamilton goes off and gifts away the win, doesn't he?
Yeah, to Kevin Magnussen, who won that particular race last season. Previous other winners include Rosberg, Button, Jean-Eric Vergne for yourself. That was in the Tornado, and I think you enjoyed that race. It was a battle against Sergio Perez.
Yeah, that was one of my all-time favourite FF1M races. Definitely went down to the wire, nail biting stuff, and Vergne had to be very tactical, I remember, in that. And looks like we're in for a 2-stop race only. No mixture from what I could tell.
Yeah, and of course it's 44 laps, and lap record holder Nico Hülkenberg on a 1:33.747. That's definitely going to get beaten. Cars are much faster this season than the last, and Hülkenberg twice a race winner at Hockenheim as well in 2011 and 2010.
That lap time feels awfully quick for this layout.
Massively fast. I mean, in 2001 in real life was a Montoya pole 1:39, and this year it's a 1:26, and it's a first pole for Väinö Kymmenen this season in the Tornado. First pole of the season for Tornado, actually, alongside Fernando Alonso in the Shake and Bake then. Kevin Magnussen third on the grid, ahead of Jean-Eric Vergne fourth. In the Andrew Racing, Vergne's actually been a very good qualifier this season, 7-4 to him at the moment.
Yeah, it's not a bad start. First pole of the season for my team. Yeah.
And Bryant 5th ahead of Bottas 6th, and Caracciola 7th ahead of Ricciardo 8th. Hamilton 9th and Romain Grosjean 10th, two possible championship contenders, but both not qualifying particularly well this time around. Alessandro Farina 11th in the Gajera, and Carlos Sainz's overalls have finally been updated. And finally out-qualifying a teammate this season, 12th Cooper Lee 14th, and James Clark splitting the two in the AJ. Keep an eye out for a new face a little bit later down the grid, but for the moment we have Sebastian Vettel way down in 15th, Mitchell's not particularly strong during qualifying it seems, and then Hülkenberg 16th. Thomas Gonzalez 17th ahead of Kimi Räikkönen 18th in the two CBA racings, again not qualifying particularly well are these CBA drivers. Sergio Perez in particular, not very good qualifying for himself in 19th, and Max Verstappen 20th. And is he 21st? He is. Mattia Alfonsi replacing Robert Kubica for the rest of the season, and Stoffel van Dorn rounding out the back.
Some big name drivers quite a way back, Hamilton, Grosjean and Vettel.
And worth mentioning as well, the gap between the top three was less than 1/10 of a second, and Kymmenen and Fernando Alonso both qualifying on the softs. Magnussen qualified on the mediums, which makes his effort a bit impressive, in my opinion.
This is not going to be easy for Kymmenen to hold with Alonso alongside,
and especially with that mile-long straight after the Nord curve, going into the Jim Clark chicane. And are we going to have another Albers moment, I wonder? But here we go, the 5 lights coming on. 4 lights, 5 pairs of lights, I have to say. Then the long pause before the 5 lights go out, and pretty even start between the top 3. Kymmenen holding on for the moment, going into the Nord curve. Magnussen remaining third for now, but it's Kymmenen leading on to the acid test.
He's got Alonso alongside him. It's a drag race. It looks like Alonso's got the legs at the moment. Kimmin, he's got past before the braking zone. That's ominous. There's been contact there. There's a GRM. There's a smash up there. Who's involved in that? And there's a Andrew with a missing wheel. I think it's Ricciardo.
And it's that Caracciola as well pulling off.
Quite a bit of drama already. Yeah, I think Ricciardo's out, and Kimmin's attacking Alonso back again now on the inside.
That's into the Ost curve,
and he makes the move. And Grosjean also having a look at Bryant. I saw there for a moment.
Yes. Grosjean versus Bryant, and further back we've got Gonzalez versus Verstappen and Bottas, and there's Caracciola stranded, unfortunately.
And Hamilton had a bad start. He's down in 16th.
Yeah, so he must have been caught up as well. And Kimi Räikkönen's had a flying start. Look at Kimi Räikkönen up in 7th. That is a great start for him in this CBA. He was 18th on the grid and up to 7th, so avoiding all the chaos beautifully.
Yeah, and also, great start for Grosjean as well. He started 10th, I think, on the grid, and now he's up to 4th. He just passed Bryant. Solid start for both my drivers.
Yeah, and Kymmenen pulling away from Alonso, and Magnussen actually catching up to the shake and bake driver. Judd bringing an ERS upgrade for this event. That's the 3rd engine upgrade of this season, and so far it seems to be working, although let's see the power difference between a Megatron and a Judd. And you could see Alonso just starting to pull away a little bit, but how brave is Magnussen on the brakes?
Still yellows.
Still on yellow flags, and I think Magnussen actually obeyed those. It's very unusual to see that. And into the pits, Cooper Lee into the pits, so obviously sustaining damage from that first lap pile-up.
Magnussen close enough to having a look here. Alonso's going a bit defensive. Yet Alonso keeps position, but obviously all this squabbling is going to help Kymmenen build a buffer and also allow potentially Grosjean to get in on the mix here.
And Bryant has dropped to 6th now behind Jean-Eric Vergne. So Vergne making moves in the Andrew. Vergne currently without a drive next season, and we are in the middle of the silly season as well, with quite a few interesting changes. You have opted for a rookie next season. You've got Charles Leclerc coming into FF1M.
Yeah, we'll get onto that in a minute. Bryant is getting past Vergne again for 5th.
Retaking that position.
Right, we're going to see a replay here of it looks like GRM hits the and then there's another. Ricciardo got absolutely creamed from behind.
I think it must have been Caracciola who smashed into Ricciardo. And oh no, it was a Cooper Lee smashed into Caracciola. That wasn't Caracciola's fault at all.
And also I saw the Mitchell must have been Hamilton facing the wrong way as well.
Yeah, he must have been the one who's sideways. I did see a Mitchell wrong way, so Carlos Sainz, worst driver of the season, in my opinion, and missing his braking point and creaming into the back of Caracciola, who...
I tell you what, he was taking inspiration from Albers, wasn't he, all those seasons ago?
Absolutely, yeah. I was wondering if there was going to be an Albers moment. Are we going to have a Adjit curve moment?
Clark's going off. He's going to hit the wall, I think.
Oh!
Danny's out.
That's out of the race. James Clark. So, Clark, I'm expecting will re-sign for AJ once all the other teams have got their drivers signed, because AJ usually plays the willful minnows in this series. And I'm tempted to say as well that, speculating on who could be Clark's teammate, I am going to go for Jean-Eric Vergne.
It's a reasonable shout.
Vergne's been quite underrated this season, I think.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Magnussen's still squabbling with Alonso's alongside now.
Into the Ost curve.
He's got the inside line. Alonso will have to yield. And that FJR is looking quite menacing this race, it has to be said.
Yes, I'm repeating my risky Silverstone strategy for this race in full ERS and no engine protection, and using in qualifying as well, trying to get a bit more extra power out of it, if that makes sense. And I did a bit of setup as well in the Friday practice. Balanced setup this time around. As we look at the This is a GRM. It's Perez versus
There's a yellow.
It's Hockenheim, so the yellows must be for the recovery of James Clark.
I thought for a moment it might have, because it's the next lap, I thought it might have been someone else in front gone off.
So Kimmonen Magnussen was actually the fastest driver on that circuit. Van Dorn, is he going to run
another
wide?
mistake coming up and spins.
Not going to reach the barrier, but is he going to get out of the gravel? Looks like it. And now Sebastian Vettel. He's chasing after Alessandro Farina for 10th place. Vettel looking for some more points. He had a decent race last time out in Hungary. Slightly quiet. All of his Lawson in 4th, but a good result and a needed one for Mitchell, especially with Hamilton not doing so well in 12th and having suffered an engine failure in that last race.
Yeah, Mitchell's season has kind of slowed up a bit, hasn't it? And although they've got by far, well, on paper, the strongest driver lineup on the grid that I think anyone's ever. And Gonzalez is out. Car is pushing itself away.
That's a gearbox failure for the CBA.
But the Mitchell. If they want any chance of the constructors, and Van Dorn's going to go off this time to retire again.
Poor Stoffel Van Dorn. He's
yeah.
I don't really have anything more other than that to say about Stoffel.
Well, at least you can't blame the engine this time.
No, it was his own doing this time, but again, by far the unluckiest FF1M driver in history, I reckon.
I do remember there was this race at Estoril a few seasons ago, and he looked like he was going to win it, and then something went wrong on his car.
Engine failure.
Yeah. Oh, that's a chop from Checo there on his former teammate.
Who is staying with GRM next season?
Yeah, for quite a hefty sum, I have to say.
Yeah, it was very quick to re-sign Perez. And in fact, GRM maintaining the same lineup, Perez and Bottas, and a big lock-up from Kimi Räikkönen, who dropped down to 8th. Thanks to that manoeuvre. Oh no, Kevin Magnussen! That is a double FJR retirement, so no victory at Hockenheim for FJR again. So, well, I'm going to sit back and enjoy this one. And he was closing up to Kimmonen as well, so that's unlucky.
Yeah, I was literally just going to say, to add salt to the wound, he was catching Kimmonen ever so slightly, and that bang goes the Judd.
Well, the risky one didn't pay off this time, so...
Where's he going to pull off to? Oh, that was awkward.
But FJR maintaining their driver lineup for next season. Kevin Magnussen and Caterina Caracciola staying for another season.
And despite his best efforts to knock a wheel off with petulance, at least you don't have to spend, your mechanics don't have to spend more time repairing that corner of the car afterwards.
Yes, it was a slow lap from Kimmonen last time out. Alonso now only 3.1 seconds behind, and Grosjean catching the pair of them. So I wonder if Kimmonen made a slight error on the previous lap, as we look at Perez up to 5th and due in the pits this lap. So the first of the two stoppers about to take shape at the end of lap 12 for Perez, but
Vern's having another look back. There's going to be... No, there isn't contact. I'm really surprised by that.
Not quite contact.
As we go back... And here we go, Max Verstappen and the Willows is putting a move on Hamilton and the Mitchell.
Yeah, lots of straight line speed on that Willows that time around, so what on earth is going on with Lewis Hamilton?
And Alonso's due in this lap.
Interesting, so Alonso going quite light in the first stint. Is how effective a new tyre is going to be? I guess we'll find out. Well,
in the last race, the new tyres were very effective, despite the heavier fuel load. Obviously, it depends on the settings, of course. That's being put into this race. Sometimes having heavier fuel and fresh tyres the heavy fuel outweighs the fresh tyres, and they're not able to exploit the undercut.
So a few more laps going on board there. I think who else is pitted as well?
I think Grosjean pitted as well. I noticed. Yeah.
So Grosjean also pitting fairly early compared to how you'd normally split a two-stop, as Alonso rejoins his Farina getting in between them.
Alonso did lose a little bit of time to the GRM of going to pits, and here's the other GRM of Bottas trying to make a move on Grosjean, but Grosjean has to go defensive, although he's going to be under pressure again.
4 long straights. This is a golden opportunity for Bottas before he makes his first stop of the race, and let's see what a Climax and a Megatron compare to each other.
This is going to cost Grosjean time.
That's not too bad, and look, Verstappen's up to 6 now, ahead of Sebastian Vettel, and I was just about to mention 3 out of 4 Judds out of the race, so all my hopes for engine developments now rest on you, Max. And into the pits comes Max Verstappen.
I have to say my car just then didn't look too particularly quick on the straights, and I also have gone for the maximum setting, so interesting. But yeah, Verstappen, he's just passed the other Mitchell with Vettel as well, so he's flying, and Kymmenen is due in this lap.
And I think Verstappen jumped Hülkenberg as well, so Verstappen gaining another place.
Yeah. How many laps has Kymmenen been out for compared with Alonso? And Alonso didn't really lose any time on his outlap battling anyone.
2 laps later than Fernando Alonso is Kymmenen making his first stop on a new set of medium Firestones. And Cooper Lee coming into the pits as well, and not too bad there for Kymmenen, and 1 lap less fuel compared to Alonso, so if my maths is correct, Alonso should be...
I've just noticed.
Oh, what's happened?
I think Grosjean's name's dropping down as a yellow flag at the Adjet curve, so that's ominous.
Yep. Is it deep into the gravel, or can he rejoin from that?
I think he's out.
No confirmation just yet, as we see Farina versus Bottas. This is not for a net position, but they're enjoying a battle, and Bottas actually got ahead of Farina that time. So Bottas making good grounds before his first pit stop, as Fernando Alonso...
We're going to catch a replay here. Oh, he's going off big time.
Big time, not quite into the tyre barrier. Just missing that. That was nicely executed, but not what you were wanting.
Oh, a problem for Alonso.
Oh dear.
Problem for Alonso. And also very shortly after his first pit stop. That is really bad timing.
Yeah, that's compromised his race.
It looks like at least he's not going to retire from it, but boy, is he going to lose a lot of time. So yeah, Kymmenen's championship rivals are all having problems this race.
Yeah, it's all falling into place for Kymmenen at the moment, but we've still got best part of 2/3 of the race to go, and that's promoted Nolan Bryant up into second place, so one shake and bake losing second, the other one gains that very position, and Perez up into third, so decent drive, and oh dear.
Oh, now the other shake and bake. The other shake and bake is now gone.
How about that for a commentator's curse? So Perez now up to second. Am I going to commentator's curse that?
When it rains, it pours, and I see it so often in Grand Prix 4, where one driver in a team has a problem, and then their teammate, like seconds later, also has a problem.
Yeah,
it's more common than you think.
It happened to me in South Africa. I think it was Caracciola who retired, and then Magnussen, and then Caracciola almost immediately afterwards.
Yeah.
Look who is in third place.
Yes, that is a performance so far.
A genuine third place for Max Verstappen. So, and the second fastest driver on the circuit as well. So, I think that must be part of the ERS upgrade that Judd brought to this race, and that's put it on full whack, and you might actually be quite competitive. So, that's a speculated theory, but I'm going with that.
Coming from an interesting source, though.
Yeah, I'm trying to be aggressive to try and catch up to Megatron in terms of power, but now I've got to catch up to Climax in terms of reliability.
Well, I have to say, speaking of reliability, the Climax hasn't been so bulletproof in the last few races as before, and also I think it is confirmed that Grosjean did retire because he's not overtaken Bryant, who we know for sure is definitely out of the race. So,
well, it's showing us Grosjean having made 2 pit stops, so I'm wondering what that's about. But did he pit?
That leaderboard can with the pit stops stats can glitch out sometimes.
Possibly. I've seen that in some FF1M races where the leaderboard goes a bit funny. Now that was Alonso. He's locked up, but he did overtake Alessandro Farina for 8th place, so he's now back into the points and chasing after Valtteri Bottas for 7th. Alonso and Bryant staying with Shake and Bake next season. And who else are we about to go into in the silly season? Verstappen staying with Willows.
We were gonna. You did ask me earlier about my new driver, Charles Leclerc. Yes, has a lot of potential, no doubt. Some might say it's a bit soon. And it is. I got to be honest. It is a gamble, as it is with signing any rookie. However, you look at what Väinö Kimonen has done ever since he took Gonzalez's seat end of last season. He's been stellar, and I have no doubt that Leclerc, whilst I think he'll take time to get to grips with at the FF1M machinery, I think he'll. I think the potential is there with some development.
Yeah, I think so too. At the moment, he's doing fairly well in the FF2M world, although not on the level of Chuck Bucknam, who will be a Mitchell driver next season alongside Lewis Hamilton. Chuck Bucknam looks pretty good.
We've got Bottas coming back at Alonso here. Going to do it under braking, and that's... going to just slow down Alonso's recovery through the pack.
Yeah, Alonso did get ahead of Bottas on the previous lap, but Bottas obviously doing the Uno reverse and getting back ahead for 7th. 2 Mitchells actually not doing too badly now, Vettel and Hamilton 5th and 6th, so that'll be some useful points for them, especially with Shake and Bake struggling in 8th and out of the race for Bryant, and Grosjean actually moved up to 15th, so I think he is still in the race.
Oh, yeah. Interesting he made a second pit stop, whether that was some mechanical issue we didn't see or he actually had some damage trying to get out of the gravel. Obviously we saw in Austria with Hamilton when he went off, he didn't actually hit the wall initially, but then it was his recovery that he tried to do, and he knocked the wheel off, and that ended his race.
I'm trying to remember who he went into at that point, but struggling at this point, so I need to rewatch that one. But yeah, Austria was a bit of a mad one, like quite high attrition rate.
Well, all Grosjean can do now is bring the car home and collect the development point, maximise the development points for the Climax engine. That's about it. He must be at least a couple of laps down on everyone else. Looking at how long it took him to his name to go above Bryant.
We may see a shot of him at some point, and I'm trying to work out what's happened to Jean-Eric Verne, because he was doing quite well in the early stages, but he's now back down to 11th, having made 2 stops, so maybe that's an unseen mechanical drama.
I think there's surely been something we've not seen there. I don't remember him making a mistake spinning or whatnot. It's funny, isn't it, how many drivers have done 2 stops already, albeit unscheduled.
And Hülkenberg another one actually as well.
Yeah. We've missed a few there. So also combining, Grosjean's problem the shake and bait issues, it would obviously it's no real wonder that the Mitchells have crept up into the points.
Alonso having a look at Bottas into the Nord curve, but not making that one stick. Now this is his opportunity once again to get alongside and use the Megatron engine to beef his way up. And let's have a look at that top speed of Alonso's: 375, 376, 377. That's quite a powerful engine he's got in the back there.
Bottas, I don't think, is done yet, is he?
Let's have a look. He's in the slipstream. Is he going to have a look into the Ost curve?
Yeah, he's in the slipstream, but Alonso's going defensive.
Sensible defensive manoeuvre there from Alonso, but he may still be in trouble exiting the Ost curve. That's good traction, though. I think this is Alonso's time now.
Yeah, I think he's clear now. We've skipped a few laps, and we're now looking at the two Mitchells. Hamilton chasing down his new teammate Sebastian Vettel, who is chasing down the grandfather of the field, if you like, Kimi Räikkönen, who also does not have a seat for next season.
Yeah, he may announce his retirement.
Yeah, potentially this could be his final season. We'll see. And it's not uncommon for drivers in FF1M to retire earlier than they did in real life.
And I have actually heard a whisper that Kimi Räikkönen may not see the season out as well, because CBA Racing, apparently they've signed Thomas Gonzalez and Mason Taylor, who's an FF2M frontrunner, doing quite well, and CBA is apparently wanting to give Mason Taylor an early run once the FF2M season's done.
Can definitely see, obviously, the fact that they've signed him for next season. But it would be a shame if Räikkönen was to be dropped mid-season and then not get a drive for next year, and this is how he bows out. So hopefully, if he gets a strong result today, this can keep his team's faith in him that little bit longer.
More than 300 races worth of experience has Kimi Räikkönen, and with it a World Championship in 2013. That was with Gajera, and quite a few race wins, podiums, fastest laps, so he's not done too badly, is Kimi.
I think Vettel was due in this lap because the pit board on Hamilton's panel has gone red, which means their teammates due in.
Yep, Vettel currently in the slipstream of Kimi Räikkönen, but will be coming out of it once he comes into the pits and turning right at the Ajip curve, scene of Lewis Hamilton's catastrophic lapse in concentration last season. But Mattia Alfonsi.
Alfonsi.
That is both AJ's out of the race, and Alfonsi's first race ending inauspiciously.
Not a happy one.
Big engine, it was a heart attack. Let's call it that. A new set of medium Goodyears go on the Mitchell of Sebastian Vettel, and just on that tyre war actually, and it does look as if Firestone have the edge in terms of race performance. They might have the stronger medium tyre. Certainly yourself and Andrew are doing quite well with it.
Yeah.
And Sainz out.
Sainz now joins the list of retirees.
And Sainz has been rescued next season. He is with... I'm trying to remember who he's with. He's one of the new ones, I think. Galaxy.
Yep. I don't really know... I'll be honest, I don't really know much about them. They're a completely new team, new entity.
Yeah, brand new to FF1M. Although an experienced GP4 OC in the mould of Joseph Willows and George Roque.
Alright.
So, yeah, he knows GP4. And from the Philippines as well, so good to have some more international names on the grid.
As Kinnunen comes into the pits for his second and hopefully final pit stop. I myself have quite a few friends from the Philippines, so it's made me when I saw that they were from the Philippines, this team, I was thinking, well, maybe it was one of my real life friends has found out about this, and Kinnunen is just rejoining into the path of Perez. That's not the most convenient because Checo is definitely going to be a thorn here, and obviously it would be frustrating if there are any silly collisions.
I'm just seeing Raikkonen come into the pits. I think Hamilton might be into the pits as well. He dropped behind. Yep, Hamilton into the pits as well. And there is Kimi Raikkonen as he rejoined. Well, this is a pit stop race between CBA and Mitchell.
This should favour the Mitchell more because they're earlier in the pit lane, and Raikkonen is still on the jacks, and yep, the Mitchell has got past. That usually is the way in this game. The team earlier in the pit lane does tend to have the advantage in those situations. And Vettel, where is he? He hasn't gone past yet, has he? No, there's Vettel.
Oh, he's going to do the... Done the dummy.
He's got past Raikkonen as well. Yeah, so that's worked out. That's worked out well for Mitchell. Hamilton has got ahead of his teammate, whilst both of them have cleared Raikkonen, and I think obviously Alonso's during the pits now for his final pit stop. I think Mitchell are looking good for a double top 5 finish at the minimum.
Top 6 maybe. It depends on what Alonso does. He's down to P4 now. Verstappen retakes that 3rd place, and Verstappen's not had an FF1M podium yet. He's had his best result was a couple of 5th places, and they came in. When did they come in? And in fact, Alonso, is he going to jump ahead of both the Mitchells? He is. Well,
looks like
just
it.
about
There's
nearly.
Hamilton. Well, he gained a lot of ground then, didn't he? I thought he was a long way off the Mitchells, and yet he's split them. And you have to say he's with the fresher tyres as well and the natural pace, the shake and bake this weekend. Surely he's going to Hamilton is going to be big prey there. And Perez is pitting from the lead.
Yeah, he led a lap, did Sergio.
For his final pit stop.
He's having a decent race, this Checo, and I think he should maintain 2nd place ahead of Max Verstappen, and looking good for his first podium of the season. It'd be GRM's 2nd if they stay there. Bottas had one at Aragon. Scene of Vino Kimmernen's first... Is it first win? I can't remember. No.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, Aragon was his first win, and Checo rejoins comfortably in 2nd place ahead of Verstappen, who is also on for, as it stands, a mega result for Willows. Been a long time since they've been on the podium, I think, hasn't it?
Since Monza last season, courtesy of Rosberg.
And Verstappen, he just recently signed a contract extension there.
He did, yes, and Willows at this moment still looking for a 2nd driver, and somehow I don't think they'll be wanting to... They may go a different direction in terms of Van Dorn, but in terms of who he could sign, I'm not 100% sure. That's a bit of a wild card, I think, because I think Andrew may retain Ricciardo.
For the avoidance of doubt to those watching this on the Sunday, we're currently recording this on the Thursday, and round 3 has just started of the silly season.
Yes, that's correct.
And Alonso's chasing Hamilton for 4th, and Hamilton went a little bit defensive into the first chicane. Is Alonso going to be close enough to get into the slipstream here?
Quickly withdrawn.
And Alonso's... Hamilton's going defensive. They're coming up to a Pedersen as well. That must be Cooper Lee, because Sainz retired earlier. And Alonso lost some time there. Hockenheim looks like was the reason for the yellow. And is he going to hit the wall? Not quite.
He spun there last season as well. So, again, not proving a happy corner for Hülkenberg.
It's been an unhappy corner for a lot of drivers over the years, and is this going to be another one for Kimi Raikkonen? Speak of the devil, looks like it. He's going off big time. He's going to hit the wall, and he's out. Right rear off.
Double retirement for CBA.
Just saw a snapshot of Grosjean for the first time, confirming that he did get out of that gravel trap, albeit a long, long time.
Building some sandcastles, I think.
Yeah. And Alonso still hassling Hamilton for fourth.
Back to the battle for fourth.
Feeling the need to go defensive there. I'm not sure that's put him in the best place going into the Ajip curve, but Alonso may not be. Nah, he's not close enough.
Not this time into the Ajip curve, and right he goes. So he'll have to wait until the next lap. It'll be their 37th out of 44 laps. And at this moment, Kymmenen holding a 24.8 second lead over Sergio Perez, and Max Verstappen third, definitely a contender for driver of the day, because he'd started way down the order. Was it 20th, I think?
Yeah. I'm thinking both Perez and Verstappen, they went heavy on race setup, and it would explain their not good qualifying whilst also explaining their strong race pace. And Alonso is going to outdrag Hamilton there quite comfortably, it has to be said. Long way before the braking zone. Can Hamilton stick close enough with him on the exit of the chicane? He's close for a counter. Does the Mitchell have the legs though?
And how aggressive is Alonso defending?
He's pulled alongside. Can he outbrake him? Looks like he has, yeah. Hamilton holds on to fourth for now.
It's a nice little scrap.
This is what was mainly happening in the 2013 race between my then driver John-Eric Verne and Perez in the Gajira. It was that chicane which the first chicane that proved to be the deciding factor, and Perez would get ahead of Verne often in that, like on the exit of that first chicane, but then Verne would just get him back and then be able to build a buffer.
Oh no! Max
Verstappen is out.
Oh,
heartbreak for Willows.
Heartbreak for everybody in the Judd family.
That is harsh. That is very harsh. Both for team and driver, obviously, would have been Verstappen's first podium, as well as the team's first in 2 seasons, I think. And now suddenly this battle for fourth becomes a battle for the final podium spot.
Absolutely, and Alonso not quite close enough here, but he's getting the slipstream now. Is he going to do a big lunge into the Ajip curve?
Ooh. Hamilton holds on, just about. But yeah, that shake and bake is fast. Is so fast in a straight line.
Absolutely, yes. So, rounding the Sud curve now, the double right, and about to enter lap 39. And indeed, it is the battle for third between Hamilton and Alonso. Both of these could do with the third place to keep up with Kymmenen in the championship battle. And here comes Alonso.
So Alonso's definitely going to get past here again. But the question is, can Hamilton stay with him through the chicane and get a good exit for the counter like he did last time?
It's the key corner's the Ost curve chicane, which is the one coming up now, and usually the one that stays on the outside loses out a lot at the exits. So Alonso's going to have to defend. He's going to try and defend aggressively.
Hamilton's not as close this time, and I think, you know what, is it going to be contact? Not quite. I think unless Hamilton can stick in the slipstream here, I think the moment Alonso's clear of the slipstream, he's gone. He's settled for third, unless of course something happens to one of the top two. And speaking of which, we're now switching to Kymmenen, and he's about to start the last lap. Don't do a
don't do a
Lewis from a year ago.
Yeah. Well, let's keep an eye on him just in case. But yeah, this looking on course to be a 6th win in a row, which I think will actually equal a record set by Pedersen from 2011.
Yes, Pedersen, I remember that season they had a very, very long winning streak. That meant they nabbed the constructors off of me on the final race. It wasn't enough for the drivers for Lewis, but yeah, they had a big long winning streak, and I think that was I think we temporarily switched to back to Grand Prix 3 at that point as well. Yeah.
In fact, I'm not actually sure. That might have been the 5th. This might be a new record then, because it was 5 in a row at the end of the 2011 season, but Hamilton then won a 6th in a row at the start of 2012. So if Kymmenen can stay on the grey stuff through the Ajip curve, then yeah, this is going to be a new record. I was holding my
he
breath
survived
through
the
there.
exit curve one last time. There is of course through the stadium section we've seen Van Dorn crash off there earlier, so you never know.
You never know, but Kimmonen has got this one under control and out of the final corner, and this will do his championship a lot of good because it's going to be another victory for Väinö Kimmonen. And look at that race time,
Woohoo.
1 hour 9 minutes. Fast race as ever at Hockenheim, and well deserved Kimmonen. He held on to the lead at the beginning and just basically stayed there.
Yeah, again, a phenomenal performance from Kimmonen. It was pretty much a lights to flag victory. Obviously, the first lap was, it could have gone. That was probably the only time when it could have gone wrong in hindsight. But another fantastic performance. And Perez as well, another great performance there. Second, and Alonso, a good recovery drive after his unscheduled pit stop to get the final podium spot, and from Hamilton and the Mitchell as well.
Vettel 5th, Bottas 6th, and then Farina getting more points for 7th. Finished every race this season. It's been a decent debut season for Alessandro Farina, and last point going to Jean-Eric Verne, and a long list of retirements. Half the field didn't finish. And they include both Willows, both CBAs, both FJRs, both AJs, a Shakenbake Andrew, and a Pedersen.
Yeah, and no Judd finishers, I'm afraid to say.
No Judd finishers. That's a bad one for Judd. Yeah, I might still give driver of the day to Max Verstappen though, even though he didn't finish third, just because 20th on the grid, nearly getting a podium without Willows was a mighty effort.
The standings, 82 points for Kimmonen to Hamilton's 59, who does take second from Grosjean in the standings, but the gap now is 23 points. It's not over. It's a gap, but there's still plenty of races left. Not to sound all like Toto Wolff or anything, but a lot can still happen.
Yeah, and it's definitely a four-way championship battle, depending on how the rest of the season goes, and a one-way battle in the team's championship, with Tornado on 140 points, nearly twice that of Mitchell on 78. Shakenbake third.
Yeah, I think if I said it was an open constructors battle, I'd probably get a few slaps. It would have to take a lot, I think, for my team to lose it from that position.
But looking good going into the final 7 races of the season. Next one is another power circuit. It's the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa-Francorchamps. So from the two of us, we shall see you for then.
Cheerio.